Welcome everyone, Rilus Dana here. Today, if you're joining, we're going to be talking about the shifting real estate market is the key topic today. If you have any questions, you're watching live, you can leave them in the comments and I'll try to get to them. If I don't get to them today, I'll get to them in a later video. So today I'm live in a few places. So my main day job is Dana and Associates. That's where I practice law in Arizona and California. So I practice probate and estate planning. And then my other places I'm live right now is at Maat Legal. So Maat Legal, that's probably where I share the most on YouTube. And the goal really is to target other attorneys and to help other attorneys with their practice. But I think a lot of my followers are other people that are interested in real estate and working with probate attorneys. So what I want to do today is talk about what I'm seeing in this changing real estate market. So I'm located in Phoenix, Arizona. I have offices in Mesa, Arizona. That's where I'm sitting today. I also have offices in Scottsdale and Chandler. So practicing as an estate planning attorney, about half of my business, I would say, is helping people with the administration, is what we call it. So that's after someone passes away. And if there's a trust, we help administer the trust. If there's not a trust or there's assets that are not in trust, we'll have to do a probate to collect assets. So we help families with that. So it's working in the estate planning and probate where I started working with real estate professionals and started to get to see what's happening with real estate. So a lot of times that's the reason that we have to go through probate, or the reason that people are calling me, is because of a problem with the house. You know, they need to sell a house and it's still titled in mom's name, but she's passed away. So what do you do? So that's usually when I get involved. So the Phoenix market, you know, it's been really hot the last couple of years. I think people are aware of that. So things were selling very quickly. There was not a lot of inventory, and now things are very different. So if you're watching this, I'm not a realtor. I should do a disclaimer. I should probably do a disclaimer on all my videos if it's not obvious. But yeah, I'm not a realtor. This video is just you know what I'm seeing, my perspective as an attorney who's involved in real estate through probate. And then I like working with real estate professionals. They're a source of business to my law firm. So it's people that I like working with. And I also find them very helpful as far as running a business. I've learned a lot as far as marketing and sales and just running a business from the real estate professionals. So what I'm seeing is, yeah, things are sitting there longer. So I also, on the estate planning side, when I meet with people, I've had a few clients who are selling properties and they're sitting there longer. So what do? So in this video, I want to show you some other options that they may or may not be presented by your realtor or the real estate professional that you're working with. So let me share my screen here. Okay, so this is where I practice law in Arizona and California, Dana and Associates. So usually I help people set up their trust. So the house is owned by their trust. Secure debt, let's talk about that. So a lot of times that's the bank, the ones that's loaning money on a transaction, but it's also possible for the seller to loan the money. So the deed is who owns the house, and the debt part, or the IOU, this piggy bank, that's who has the note. So they call it a promissory note, and it's secured by a deed of trust, and we commonly refer to that as a mortgage. So this is how it works in Arizona, California, the states that I practice in. There may be a second note, you know, like maybe they get a loan, you know, first they get a loan to buy the house, and then they want to build a pool later, so they borrow more money. Or maybe it's a home equity line of credit. There could also be judgments that are secured against the deed. So the deed is the ownership, debt is things that's owed, and it's going to be secured against the property. All right, let's take a look at a traditional retail sale. Again, I'm not a realtor, so all the realtors watching, if you got complaints, please call me first instead of just complaining to the bar if you don't like anything that you're hearing here. So basically, this is how it works. There's a listing agreement signed with the real estate agent. The agent markets a property, puts it on the MLS, shows the property, and it's unknown how long it's going to take and what it will actually sell for. You don't know how long it's going to take for a buyer to come and pay the price that you're asking, or if they will ever pay the price that you're asking. So the traditional retail sale, that means dealing with other agents or other buyers until eventually you come to terms. Eventually you accept an offer. Offer, the basic parts of the offer or that contract is going to be the sale price, the earnest deposit, how much money they're putting down to secure that contract, some sort of inspection period where they can look at the house, review or inspect the property, and then a closing date when you plan to close. So generally, title gets open or escrow gets open with the title company. They do a search to confirm the ownership, see if there's any other debts out there. And then maybe they ask for repairs or concession. Typically, in a traditional retail sale, it's the seller that pays the closing cost. I would say in this market, as it's slowing down, I see that some sellers are willing to pay some of the closing costs as a way to sweeten the deal, as a way to move their property and stand out with all this inventory. All right, so traditional retail sale, it ends with the person that sells the property, they end up with money, and they transfer the title or the deed to the house to the new buyer. All right, let's look at some other options. So retail sale is one. That's what we just looked at. So that works great when the property's in good condition and there's plenty of time to sell. So there's no rush of impending foreclosure or any other problems with the real estate. So the other options, or another option, would be a cash offer. So this is when you want to sell fast and maybe there's some other problems with the property that you don't want to deal with. So maybe it needs some upgrades and repairs before it can be sold. Maybe there's a holdover tenant in there that you don't want to evict. So just any type of problem that you want to unload, a cash offer is a solution to just get out of that property and get some cash and move on. So other options that a professional may have in their toolbox is they may help, they might buy properties subject to the mortgage. So more solutions, if you have a debt on the property and you're not able to sell it, then if you're willing to keep that mortgage in place and sell the property subject to the mortgage, that brings you new buyers potentially. Buy with holdover tenant, family member, talked about that. Subject to, hey Cody, thanks for watching. Yeah, that's sub 2. Buying subject to the mortgage is what's known as sub 2. So abbreviation for subject to the mortgage. So novation agreement. So basically where they partner on the fix and flip. So there's more options than just listing on the retail market and a cash offer. So depending on what position the seller is in or what they're looking to receive from the property, what their timeline is, the condition of the property, you can work out some other things that may be beneficial to both sides. So I like working with real estate professionals as an attorney because they're willing to meet people at the property, help them inspect properties, see what's going on there, see what kind of personal property was left behind, especially if the people are out of state. We've had clients where they're in New York and they've had, a sibling or an uncle pass away with the house in Scottsdale. So if I can send someone out there to meet with them and Zoom with them or FaceTime with them so they can give them an idea of what they inherited, to see if it warrants a trip out here or to see if everything is able to be handled remotely. Personal property. So the real estate professional, if they buy it, whether they buy it or not, they can help the clients remove property, or if there's any type of problems in there, they can help them get them solved. And maybe it's a hoarder house. Maybe they need help with pets, um, vehicles, shipping items to different beneficiaries, all of those things. A good real estate professional should be able to help with. So whether they're a realtor or not, um, these are the types of real estate professionals that I'm looking for, that they can give multiple options and just start helping people solve problems. Let's go back. So one of the big things they help with as well is established value. By getting a cash offer on the property, it shows what that option is, what someone's willing to pay cash right now for the property. So if that amount works for them and time is not on their side, they need to sell quickly, then that could be a great thing. Or establishing value could also help people to realize what type of price they would get if they sold it on the market. A lot of times there's someone living in a property which is going to need it, and they're going to need a move. Maybe that's one child living in the property, and then now that mom and dad have passed away, that house needs to be sold and split to the other 5 kids. But we need to help this person find a new place to live before they can move out of that house. So real estate professionals can also help with that. So let's quickly look at a wholesale real estate transaction. Again, I'm not a realtor. I just want to show the basic idea. So this is like the cash offer. So maybe they're a realtor and they also do cash offers. That's pretty common. So they accept an offer to sell as is. With the cash you get to choose the closing date. So whether you want to go fast or if you need to wait a period of time, you have the flexibility to choose the closing date. Still an inspection period. Typically in these transactions, the buyer is going to be paying the cost. It's more common. And then the seller, they receive cash, just like the traditional one, but it's going to go faster. All right, now let's look at seller financing. This is an option that a lot of people don't realize they have this option. So if you own a property, you could sell the property, but you could agree to loan that new seller part of the money. So what that does, so it looks pretty much the same, but you agree on how much you're going to loan them. How much down payment you want, what type of monthly payment you want, and for how long. Then when you sign documents, in addition to just the contract to sell and transferring it, you're now going to be the bank. So you're going to own the promissory note. That IOU, you're going to own the IOU, the right to be paid. So the deed is the owner. So this new seller, maybe they're bringing some money and they're borrowing some from you. So they'll pay you whatever that is, and then you loan them the rest. The title of the property gets transferred to the new buyer. So the seller no longer owns it. They no longer have to deal with tenants, fix toilets, all those things. And their loan is secured against that property. It's recorded. So it shows up that if this house is ever sold, they're going to be the first one that gets paid. Or if there's any other debts or liens on this property, it's going to be after the seller. So in these types of situations, it's usually the buyer that's paying the closing costs. So the seller doesn't have to pay the title and all the fees. All right, let's do a quick little accounting review. So assets and liabilities. So if you own a house, that's an asset. Money is an asset. Liabilities or debt, debt is a liability. When you owe someone money, that's a liability. However, if you own the right to be paid, that's an asset. So if you are the one that borrowed the money, it's a liability. But the person that loaned the money, they have an asset in owning that note and the right to be paid. So, all right, we already looked at that. I'm going to skip through the wholesale. Skip the other slide. Okay, considerations. So wholesale considerations, you got to be careful what type of people you're working with. There's a lot of sharks out there, especially in this Phoenix market. So they may never be able to pay the price that they told you. Some people, they wait until the last minute, wait until you've already moved out and planned on it, and then they cancel right at closing and say they need more money. So that's one thing you got to be careful of. So, or they might not be able to close, and again, wait till the last minute to tell you that. Now, with traditional realtors or retail sales, what you got to look out for is unrealistic sales price to secure the listing agreement. So you want to make sure that the realtor isn't inflating the value of the house just to get you to sign a listing agreement with them. You want to look at what experience they have. Is this a brother-in-law or a family member that became an agent and is not actually doing transactions, or is this someone that is in tune with the market and is doing a lot of transactions? Okay, ways to value real estate. The best way is what a willing buyer is, what a buyer is willing and able to pay. An appraisal is another way. If you're planning on holding on to a property, you can get an appraisal to get the new tax basis established. Or another potential option is a broker price opinion letter from a realtor. Again, it gives you an idea, but the best thing is going to be what someone's willing to pay for it. The second best thing is going to be an actual appraisal. So how to find real estate professionals. If you have a property that's sitting on the market, or if you're thinking of selling, but you're worried about the current condition, you can reach out. I have another company here. This is Maat One. This is my company. So you can put your information in there, tell me about the property, and I'll help connect you with the right real estate professional that can give you more options than just listing on the market. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you found this helpful. Let me let me know what other topics you'd like to hear about, especially regarding real estate, probate, and I'll see you next time.